Not all coins are what they seem. Some were spent without a second thought. Yet they're worth thousands, even millions today, hidden in drawers, jars, and pockets. Are pieces of history waiting to be discovered. At Rare Coins, we uncover the real value, the truth behind the hype, and the coins collectors would do anything to own. Welcome to Rare Coins. Imagine this, you're holding a plain 1984 Washington quarter from your pocket. It's just 25 cents, right? But what if I told you that certain 1984p quarters have shocked the coin world, selling for thousands of dollars? In fact, one of the finest known examples sold at auction for over $1,293. And that's just for a regular strike with no silver content. Suddenly 25 cents doesn't look so ordinary anymore. Now before you rush to check your change, let's slow down. In this episode of Rare Coins, we'll uncover why the 984p Washington quarter has become one of the most underrated treasures of the 1980s. And I'll take you through the history, the errors that make these quarters skyrocket in value, how to grade them properly, the biggest mistakes beginners make, and the smartest strategies to buy, sell, and even profit from this overlooked coin. By the end, you'll see why collectors are starting to hunt 1984p quarters like never before. Let's rewind to 1984. The mint struck over 676 million quarters in Philadelphia that year. With such a huge mintage, you'd think these coins are worthless. But here's the catch. Finding one in perfect, untouched condition is nearly impossible. Most went straight into circulation, bouncing around in pockets, vending machines, and cash registers for decades. The few that survived in pristine condition are now what collectors fight for. That's why a quarter you can still pull from circulation today can be worth hundreds or even thousands, if it grades high enough. Now let's talk errors and varieties, the real jackpot. The 1984p quarter is notorious for its double die errors. On some coins, the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" show strong doubling under magnification. That tiny doubling can transform a coin's value from pocket change into a $500 to $2,000 collectible. There are also reports of off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even missing letters. Each error adds rarity, and rarity equals money. But let me emphasize this, grading is everything. The difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one worth $1,000 is often just condition. On the obverse, study Washington's cheek and hair. The highest points wear first. If you see flatness, your coin may be circulated. On the reverse, look at the eagle's wings and tail feathers. Sharp detail means higher grade. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC are the ultimate authority. And an MS-67 coin from them can command prices that blow people's minds. Here's the trap beginners fall into: cleaning coins. Please never polish your 1984p quarter. It might look shiny, but to collectors it's ruined. Cleaning leaves scratches and unnatural shine. And professional graders will instantly mark it down. A cleaned coin that might have been worth $500 could drop to just $10. So the golden rule: leave your coin exactly as it is. Now, how do you buy and sell these quarters? If you think you've got a winner, don't run to a pawn shop. They'll pay you 25 cents or maybe $1. Instead, look at heritage auctions, great collections, or eBay completed sales. That's where serious collectors shop, and that's where the real money is. On the buying side, you can often scoop up ungraded rolls of 1984p quarters for cheap, then search them for hidden gems. Some coin roll hunters have found double dies worth hundreds this way. Here's the psychology I want you to think about. Most people completely ignore coins from the 1980s. Everyone's obsessed with silver coins from before 1964, or the famous key date pennies. But smart collectors know that modern coins in high grades are actually rarer, because almost nobody saved them. And that's why the 1984p quarter is so dangerous. It hides in plain sight. It's the sleeper coin of the decade. Now let's make it personal. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table going through a handful of change. You see a beat-up 84 quarter. You're about to toss it aside. But then you look closer. The "In God We Trust" looks doubled. Your heart races. Could this be it? Could this be the one? You send it in for grading, and weeks later you get it back. MS-66 double die obverse. Value $1,200, all from a coin that cost you nothing. That's not just a dream. It's happening to collectors right now. So here's your action plan. 1. Start checking every 1984 P quarter you find. 2. Get a good 10x magnifier and learn to spot doubling. 3. If your coin looks mint state, consider submitting it to PCGS or NGC. 4. Don't ever clean your coin. 5. And most importantly, stay patient. Because remember, most people will spend these coins without thinking. But you with knowledge can turn pocket change into profit. So is there a $1,000 quarter hiding in your change right now? There's only one way to find out. Start looking. Imagine digging through your pocket change and pulling out a simple quarter dated 1970 with a tiny D mint mark under the date. To most people, that's just 25 cents. But for a rare coin collector, that coin could turn into thousands of dollars. Because the 1970 D Washington quarter hides stories, errors, and conditions that have shocked the auction world. In fact, the highest known auction price for a pristine 1970 D Washington quarter reached over $3,040 in a heritage sale. That's more than 15,000 times its face value. Now before you rush off to check your coins, let's slow down. In this video, part of our Rare Coin series, I'll take you through the full journey, what makes the 1970 D special, how to identify valuable ones, grading tips, mistakes to avoid when cleaning, and where you can buy or sell these quarters for the best price. By the end, you'll not only know exactly what to look for, but you'll also realize why this coin could be hiding in your house right now. Let's start with history. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. By 1970, America was in a time of change. The mint had stopped making silver quarters after 1964, so by 1970, every circulating quarter was clad copper sandwiched between nickel. This shift made earlier silver coins collectible, but it also meant errors and striking issues on clad coins began catching attention. The Denver Mint, where this quarter was struck, was known for strong production, but it also had quirks that collectors hunt for today. Now, what's rare about the 1970 D? First, its condition rarity. Millions were struck, but most went straight into circulation and were used heavily. Finding one with sharp luster, no scratches, and full details is extremely hard. That's why top-graded examples, MS67 or higher, are so rare that they drive auction records. Second, error varieties. Collectors are obsessed with error coins from the 1970s. Some 1970 D quarters show double dies where letters like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" look doubled under magnification. Others have off-center strikes, missing letters, or weak rims. Even a minor misalignment can turn a 25-cent coin into a $500 collectible. But the most legendary related rarity is the 1970s proof quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter planche, which sold for over $35,000. And stories like that make every 1970 quarter worth checking. But how do you know if yours is valuable? This is where grading comes in. Grading is the heart of coin collecting, and mistakes here can cost you thousands. Take your coin under a strong light. Look at Washington's cheek and jawline. These high points wear first. If the luster is still full with no dull gray patches, your coin may grade mint state. On the reverse, check the eagle's feathers. Sharp detail means higher grade. If your coin has even slight wear, it may grade AU, about uncirculated, or lower, which brings down value. But even in lower grades, rare errors or varieties can skyrocket the price. And here's something crucial: never clean your coin. So many beginners ruin valuable quarters by scrubbing or polishing them, thinking they'll make them look better. Professional graders can spot cleaning instantly, and a cleaned coin can drop in value by 80–90%. If your coin looks dirty, leave it. Dirt tells a story. Scratches destroy it. Now let's talk buying and selling. Suppose you think you've got a valuable 1970 D. What's next? If you want top dollar, consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. Yes, it costs money, but a coin graded MS67 can sell for thousands, more than the same coin sold raw. For selling, avoid quick pawn shops. Instead, look at eBay completed sales, heritage auctions, or great collections. These venues reach serious collectors who pay premium prices. If you're buying, the 1970 D can be a smart investment. Search for coins in certified slabs graded MS66 or MS67. They're relatively affordable compared to rarer key dates, but their values keep climbing as collectors realize how few, high-grade examples exist. And remember, it only takes one coin with an error, a perfect strike or unusual toning to make you a fortune. Now let's make this personal. Many of you watching are searching through coin rolls, bank bags, or your grandparents' drawers, hoping to find treasure. And I'll be honest, we were once just like you. In the beginning of our coin journey, we wasted years because we didn't know the secrets, which coins to look for, how to grade properly, or even how to avoid cleaning mistakes. But eventually, we found coins like the ones we're showing you in this series, and they changed everything. That's why we created rare coins, to share those secrets with you, so you don't lose time like we did. So where can you find the 1970 Washington quarter? Start with change jars, estate sales, flea markets, and coin rolls from banks. Coin roll hunting is still one of the cheapest ways to discover gems. Also, ask relatives. Many people stashed away coins in the 70s without realizing some were future treasures. Now let's bring this back to the hype. Imagine holding a simple quarter from 1970 and realizing it's worth $3,000, $5,000, even more. That's not fantasy, it's auction history. And if rare errors like doubled dies or misstrikes are involved, your quarter could rival the price of a used car, or even part of a house payment. So before you spend that 1970 quarter, stop. Examine it. Check the luster, check the strike, check for errors. Because if you overlook it, you might be throwing away a coin worth thousands. And if you're serious about learning, stay with us in this series. Each coin we cover, pennies, nickels, quarters, comes with real stories, real values, and the strategies you need to profit. We're not hiding anything. If a coin is worth millions, we'll say it. If it's worth hundreds, we'll say that too. Transparency is our promise. So tell me, have you checked your change lately? Could the next 1970 treasure be sitting in your pocket right now? Think about this. In 1974, the U.S. Mint struck over 800 million Washington quarters in Philadelphia alone. That's nearly 1 billion coins. Enough to make you believe every 1974 quarter is worthless pocket change. But here's the truth that most people don't know. Some 1974 quarters, yes, the ones with no mint mark, have stunned collectors and sold for over $10,000 at auction. Now imagine finding one of those quarters in your change, a coin worth more than your entire week's paycheck, for just 25 cents. Sounds impossible? Stick with me. Because by the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly why the 1974 quarter is one of the most underrated gold mines in U.S. coinage history. Let's rewind. It's 1974. Richard Nixon is president. Gas prices are soaring. And the mint is preparing for the bicentennial celebrations that would explode just 2 years later in 1976. During this transition period, millions of quarters were struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark. But here's the kicker. Unlike the common worn-down coins you see every day, the few that survived in pristine, mint-state condition became rarities that collectors chase with fury. One coin in particular, graded MS-67 by PCGS, brought nearly $11,500 at auction. Let that sink in. A 25-cent coin from the 70s, selling for more than most people's used car. And why? Because high-grade survivors of the 1974 P issue are almost non-existent. But condition isn't the only factor. Errors and varieties push these coins into legendary status. Some 1974 quarters feature doubled die obverse errors, where the words, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" show strong doubling under magnification. These coins can easily reach into the $1,000 to $3,000 range, depending on grade. Other rare errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and even struck-through grease errors where parts of the design are missing. Each of these makes a common coin into a collector's dream. Now let's talk about grading, because this is where beginners either win or lose. On the obverse, Washington's cheek and hair are the highest points. They wear down first. If they're flat, your coin is probably circulated. On the reverse, the eagle's breast feathers and wings tell the story. If you see sharp, crisp lines, you could be holding a mint-state coin. Professional grading services, like PCGS and NGC, are the only way to confirm true value. Without them, your coin is just a guess. Here's the trap you must avoid: cleaning your coin. This is where so many new collectors ruin their chances. They think polishing makes a coin more valuable. It doesn't. In fact, cleaning strips away natural surfaces and leaves scratches. A 1974 quarter that could have been worth $1,000 in MS-65 might drop to $5 once it's been cleaned. Remember this. A coin's value comes from originality, not shine. So how do you actually profit from a 1974 quarter? The smart collectors go hunting. They buy unsearched rolls of 1970s quarters, often for face value, and sift through them with a magnifier. Every so often they find a doubled die, an off-center strike, or even a near-gem mint state coin. That's how you turn 25 cents into hundreds. And when it comes time to sell, forget pawn shops. They'll give you face value. Instead, list your coin on heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections, where serious collectors fight over these rarities. Now let me ask you, why are so many people ignoring coins? From the 1970s? Simple, they're not silver. Most beginners chase silver coins from before 1964, thinking that's where the money is. But here's the truth. While everyone's chasing silver, the smart collectors are scooping up modern coins like the 1974 quarter in high grade, and that's why this coin is so dangerous. It hides in plain sight. Picture this. You're sorting through your pocket change one night. You see a dull 1974 quarter. You almost toss it aside. But something catches your eye. The letters in God We Trust look doubled. You grab a magnifier and suddenly your heart skips a beat. Could this be the real thing? Weeks later, after sending it to PCGS, the result comes back. MS-66 doubled die obverse. Value $3,000, all from a coin that cost you nothing. That story isn't a fantasy, it's happening right now. Collectors are pulling hidden gems from change, coin rolls, even old jars sitting in the closet. So here's your action plan. 1. Start checking every 1974 quarter with no mint mark. 2. Learn to spot doubled dies and common errors. First, use a 10x magnifier. Your eyes alone aren't enough. 4. Submit high-grade finds to PCGS or NGC. They sell only in reputable auctions, never for face value. And remember this, while most people will keep spending these coins without a second thought, the informed collector, the one who understands the rarity, the condition, the errors, that's the person who will walk away with thousands. So let me ask you, have you checked your change today? Because your next 25 cents might just be a $10,000 payday. Imagine this, it's 1968. The U.S. Mint has just gone through one of the biggest changes in coinage history. Silver coins are gone, completely stripped from dimes, quarters, and half dollars. For the first time, your Washington quarter is no longer a silver treasure. It's a copper nickel-clad coin. Most people thought that was the end of valuable quarters. But here's the secret collectors don't want you to know, 1968. Quarters, yes. The clad ones can still bring thousands of dollars in the right condition. So why does a coin that millions of Americans saw as cheapened turn into a modern rarity worth a fortune? Stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll know why the 1968 Washington quarter is not just pocket change, it's a ticking time bomb of hidden value. First, some history. In 1965, the mint stopped putting mint marks on coins altogether. Why? Because collectors were hoarding every coin with a D or an S, causing shortages. But by 1968, the mint decided to bring back mint marks, but this time, they were placed on the obverse, to the right of Washington's hair ribbon, where they remain to this day. That means 1968 is a transitional year, a year collectors study closely, because transitional years often hide massive rarities. Now let's talk mintage. In 1968, Philadelphia, no mint mark, struck over 220 million quarters. Denver D produced nearly 100 million. San Francisco S minted proof coins only, about 3 million of them. With numbers like that, you'd think these coins are common, and yes, in worn circulated grades they are. But here's where the story flips. High-grade survivors, coins that have never been pocket-worn, never been scratched, are extremely rare. Take this example. A 1968 D Washington quarter. In MS-68 condition, graded by PCGS, sold for over $8,000 at auction. That's right, $8,000 for a coin most people spend without blinking. Why? Because finding a clad quarter from 1968 with perfect surfaces and blazing luster is almost impossible. But the real monster? The 1968 proof quarters. At first glance, you'd think proof coins are common. After all, they were sold to collectors. But certain proof coins from 1968 have cameo and deep cameo designations, those mirror-like fields with frosty devices. A deep cameo Menston 68s in perfect PR70 can command over $10,000 today. Imagine owning a coin that looks like a tiny piece of jewelry, flawless under magnification. That's why proof collectors go absolutely crazy for this date. Now let's talk about errors. The 1968 Washington quarter is notorious for striking mistakes. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, and double-struck coins are all documented. Even simple planche flaws can boost value into the hundreds. And let's not forget the rare double die obverse varieties, where the word liberty or the motto "In God We Trust" shows strong doubling. These can bring anywhere from $500 to several $1,000s, depending on condition. Here's your checklist. 1. Check the mint mark. No mint mark Mars, Philadelphia. D or Denver. S. Sheer proof. 2. Check condition. Look at Washington's cheek and hair. If they're flat and worn, it's probably just face value. If they're sharp and frosty, you might have mint state. 3. Check for errors. Use a 10x loop to hunt for doubling, off-center strikes, or clipped planches. 4. Check the surfaces. Scratches, cleaning, and dullness kill value. A coin with original mint luster is where the money is. Here's the biggest mistake beginners make. They think because a coin is from the 1960s and it's clad, it's worthless. But the truth is, clad coins from the late 60s and 70s are much tougher in high grade than people realize. Silver coins tone and wear differently, but clad coins show every tiny scratch. That's why a top-grade 1968 quarter can be a jackpot. Picture this. You're at a garage sale. Someone's selling a jar of change for $20. You buy it, sort through the coins, and out pops a 1968 proof quarter. You look closer, it has deep cameo contrast, not a single flaw. Months later, it's sitting in a PCGS holder labeled PR70D cam, and at auction it hammers for $12,000. That story has happened before, and it could happen again. Now let me ask you, how many 1968 quarters have passed through your hands without a second thought? How many times have you spent 25 cents without realizing you might be giving away thousands? Every day these coins slip through the cracks, and every day, the informed collector, the one who checks every coin carefully, wins big. So here's your action plan. Save every 1968 quarter you find, especially with mint marks. Learn to grade by focusing on Washington's cheek and the eagle's feathers. Use a magnifier to check for doubling and errors. Never clean your coin. Send the best examples to PCGS or NGC for grading. And finally, remember this. The 1968 Washington quarter is proof that even when silver disappeared, the value didn't, it just shifted. And while 99% of people ignore clad coins, the 1% who know what to look for are sitting on gold mines, disguised as pocket change. So the next time you see a 1968 quarter, don't spend it. Study it, because that 25 cents could be worth $10,000 or more.